that, Graham. Okay, stream one has disconnected. Send the error report. Have you ever seen that?
What's the Wi-Fi window? Oh, you got to enter into the thing. Correct.
Already hit stream.
You can turn the stream off and edit it.
Yeah, you can edit it. You just have to put in the thing. Stream one is for individuals.
Oh, I got the email.
Hello, happy Friday Eve. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. Got a lot to talk about today. Big matchups this upcoming weekend, so we're going to get into that. Some recruiting news. We'll go ahead and break down, obviously, some tail of the tape with John Cineas from Grayson. And we're going to try to have on two coaches at one time from Jonesboro, Coach Tim Floyd and also Coach Syrup. Talk to them a little bit about the program and learn a little bit more. But we're trying to get them connected on. Craig, any news? You see them on?
Just Coach Floyd.
Okay.
Oh, no, we got them both. Let's try it.
Okay. Yep.
That second box. Looks like he came in on the third.
Yeah, it's going to be the third one.
Oh, I just.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, sir, I can. All right, we're going to try to get the other coach on. I know it's been a little bit of a struggle on and off. Thank you, Craig. Definitely difficult to get this going. But how y'all doing today, man? Thank you so much for joining the show.
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. So
Doing.
I'm with yes, sir. So I'm with Jonesboro program. I mean, guys, great win last week, 34-33. So, Coach, I'm gonna throw it to you first, Coach Floyd. Tell me a little bit about that victory for those that didn't see. Just what kind of went on in that game? 34-33 victory against a really good Dutchtown team.
Actually, it was 30-29. It was a really good game. I think we were able to capitalize on some of their mistakes, and then they capitalized on some of our mistakes to come back at the end. Made a great run because it's a great program, well coached program. A lot of players made a lot of plays in that game, and it was just, I guess, one of those instant classic type games. Like I said, we jumped out early, they came back late, and it came down to stopping a two-point conversion. It was just a really good win for the program.
Yes, sir. And Coach Floyd, I know you've been with Jonesboro for a long time. So, just what have you enjoyed most about being there at the program and just seeing it at its height and being able to kind of be there as it kind of hits that success?
Well, watching the biggest part has been watching the guys grow year after year. Kind of seemed like my life traveled in years of four. When I see those freshmen come in, grow from freshmen to seniors, and teach that next group come in from freshmen to seniors, and and helping Jonesboro become a respectable program around. You know, it's been some great players come through here, but it's just been tough putting together a string of seasons. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be here where those players kind of grouped in together over the years, and we've been able to put together a few good seasons.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Carmichael, I got to throw this to you. Where did the name Coach Syrup come from? Where did that originate? And is it really true? Are you really giving kids syrup shots, the Aunt Jemima syrup shots during the games? Where did that come from?
So the first thing came from when I was at Middleborough High School. I just started the syrup on the side of my hip, and it started. I think our first game when I first got to Jonesboro, and I just said I want to do something different. So we started with the syrup shots, and yes, I do get a syrup shot on the sideline when we get a touchdown. So that's where it all came from. It started in 2018, so it's still going.
Now, tell me a little about it, Coach. Now, is it like a small drop of it, or it's a large drop, and then is it only if you score a touchdown, or is it if it's like a big play or something?
So it's for a pancake block / touchdown. So and it's not a like a gulping type of thing. It's just like a little shot.
Okay. Okay, got you, Coach. Well, I know you're the recruiting coordinator, so I want you to walk me through kind of for you, Coach. How's your day to day kind of look like communicating with the college coaches and things like that, and kind of getting your players out there and giving them exposure for one, and then two, tell me a little about the player that was hot on the radar this week, John Cineas Wyman, 3 touchdowns, he had a pick six, 150 all-purpose yards. Tell me a little bit about him and what makes him so elite as a player.
So my day to day is when I'm not doing something, I'm trying to push my guys out there, whether it's sending film, putting up posts in a DM or posting them on Twitter. I'm always trying to push. So you'll see me on my phone a lot, or I don't text the coach, hey, I got this guy, or I got this kid, this kid did this. For example, like you said, John Tavius, like he scored 3 touchdowns, and I'm sorry, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, threw one and caught one. Like I had to get on the phone Monday and say, hey, coach, I got this kid, did this, yada yada yada, and I mean, he's a good kid. He's starting to mold into himself. I mean, he's like I said, he's spectacular with the ball in his hands on offense or defense. He's sophomores that's rising. We got a pretty good his class that's rising, and we got also, a senior class that's pretty.
Well, Coach, I want you to go in a little bit more detail with that and a little bit. Tell me more about your players. But I want to throw this to Coach Floyd. So last year, faced a couple of hurdles. Didn't make the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. So what do you just see out of this group, Coach Floyd, that's different? And what do you think it takes for this group to kind of get to the playoffs and kind of play that important football down the stretch?
Well, this group is a little bit different. I think they learned a lot from last year. And we had high expectations last year to make the playoffs, of course. And when we didn't, they actually got a chance to learn a lot from those seniors that left. The do's and the don'ts. And it kind of stuck in their mind that, you know, we didn't make the playoffs last year, which was an expectation, but we got to get back on track. And another thing, the guys are a little bit older. We had more freshmen on the team than juniors and seniors combined last year, and now we got more sophomores this year than juniors and seniors combined. And I think we got a pretty good mixture this year. The D line, offensive line, got a lot of seniors on there, and they're doing a good job of, taking charge, leading the way when it comes to preparing for each Friday, the opportunities we have each Friday night. And one thing they did focus on is being more disciplined, wherever they may be, classroom, field, in the community, and just kind of getting that type of attitude and that mentality, that work ethic to carry over to the practice field.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of O-line and D-line, I want to throw this to you, Coach Syrup. Tell me about the trenches before you tell me about the skill position groups. Who are some guys we should watch out for this season that has been just making big plays, making those pancake blocks have been big as far as just the running game and kind of creating time for your quarterback in the passing game as well?
So O-line wise, we got a senior, Robert Early. He's 6'. No offers right now, but he's the anchor O-line, our left tackle. On the D-line, like Coach said, we got other, guys, top guy on the D-line right now. We got Hill, he's 2024. I'm sorry, all the guys are 2024. We got Miles Brooks, he's 2024 D-line. And we have, and that's the only one, the last one. 2024 Keyshawn Murray. He's the other D-lineman. That's 2024. So, like Coach said, our O-line and D-line are pretty stacked with seniors. We also have other guys that are playing, big roles also.
Gotcha, Coach. And collectively, what do you see from them every day in practice that's just impressed you, or just that, they do always that kind of just sets them apart?
So I know from the O-line standpoint, like Coach said, they're more mature. They're that this year they don't want what happened last year, so they're trying to take things head on and trying to make sure the guys under them, instruction, being disciplined also. So they're really taking the leadership, and trying to be better than what was before.
Gotcha, Coach. Well, I'm going to throw this to you, Coach Floyd. Just what has been your favorite thing so far about this group, right? Obviously, football season starts way earlier now. It's got going to spring, got spring practices and things like that. You have 7-on-7s in the summer, and then you got, getting ready for the season practices. But just what's been your favorite part of this group so far?
My favorite part so far has been the relationship building that the guys having with each other. I think years ago we started with LOB, and it's kind of been shaky, and they've really bought back into what LOB mean. And I think when we went to FCA camp, it was kind of a change in the group. I mean, we got closer together. It was a genuine love that I felt when we left FCA camp, and they've just continued to grow closer together and love each other and serve each other. That's been, I guess, the most consistent thing I've seen and the most enjoyable part. So we teach and preach servant leadership. You gotta serve people. You gotta love people, and love our brothers is the thing that's kind of we lay our hats on loving each other.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, this week you got a bye week. You got Forest Park coming out as you're reaching the opener. So just what did you kind of preach to the team this week? And will there be any games you're going to tomorrow night just to look and just kind of, enjoy that Friday night and not having to play?
This week has been, about us not letting, our minds start buying into the hype that some people have been talking about. Off seasons are hard. Not off weeks are hard, and it's just been about being focused and reaching the standard that we've set. And as far as going to watch some games, I like to get on Huddle and kind of spend hours on Huddle. So, but I may go and watch North Clayton. That's my brother, Coach Cap over there at North Clayton, and they have a pretty good year so far this season.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach Syrup, same thing for you. Is there any games you're going to go to tomorrow night to kind of, just support or just scout a little bit? And then the second part of the question is just, you get to see all these kids. Just what's been your favorite part about just seeing these kids grow at a young age? For example, the Wymans of the world just kind of taking off early in their sophomore campaign, only 3 games in.
I don't have any games right on my list that I'm gonna, attend. RE, our 20 class, and also, our 25 class with Smith, Christopher France. Seeing those guys that were quiet guys in the back that probably didn't talk that much or, were open up that much. Now they're starting to take on the road and take that coach.
Yes, sir. Well, tell me about some of those guys in more detail. What separates them in the 25 and 26 class specifically for your team? And then, in your opinion, Coach, what's the most important quality you think, or just a part of your game you have to be able to play two-way and be able to play that at an elite level in high school?
So, 25 class, we got Christopher Francis. He's a DB. We also got 25 Christian Smith. Got 25 quarterback Jamon Jones. 5 D-line Jeremiah Tickett, and a 25 linebacker Mattis Geralds. 26 got Cortez Ray, he's a DB. We got Ari Farley, he's a 26 linebacker. Jamar Owens, pretty sure you guys know him as well. He has 10 offers. He's a DB. Jeremiah Collier, 26 linebacker. And then John Cineas, he did everything on Friday night. He's a DB, quarterback, receiver. And then last we got running back Lucius Murray. He's a back. I'm sorry. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Yes, I was just saying, what do you think is the most important quality, Coach? Like, obviously, you just mentioned Wyman, you mentioned Lucius, you mentioned some of those guys that some of them have to play two-way. So, what do you think is the most important quality, or someone has to be able to play or be able to be elite, kind of on both sides of the ball, and not kind of just get overtired or just kind of like not giving that same maximum effort that you would see? Do you hear me, Coach?
Coach.
I think he went out.
So
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll throw it to you, Coach. Yes, sir.
So I want to say strength and conditioning. Our strength and conditioning coaches do a great job. Coach Ed, Coach Jeff, and all the coaches, buy into that. When new kids come to the program, he say, "Coach, y'all sure do run a lot." Well, I believe in, we're going to be one of the best conditioned teams, and we're going to be one of the most disciplined teams, and that's what it's going to take. And I think coaches do a great job of keeping some of those guys after and giving them extra running, whatever the case may be. They meet with coaches on the weekend and get work, and that's going to, if you want to be elite on both sides, you got to put in more than what's already, a tough workout. You got to put in more.
Yes, sir. And Coach, I want to go back to a game you had a little bit earlier in the season. Week 2, you played against Cartersville, right? We know Cartersville is a staple out there in 5A, right? Every year they're either in the semifinals, quarterfinals, or they're competing and contending for a title. So what do you think your group really learned from that game just to kind of help you going forward the rest of the season?
One thing, I think they picked up some confidence and understand when you want to reach certain goals, you have to play against the teams like the Cartersville, and you got to be technically sound. You got strong, and I think when they started working the techniques versus Cartersville techniques, that was a big plus for us for them to grow on. I say that's a great program. I kind of want to say measuring stick, but I don't want to say measuring stick. But it is some of the things you can get away with, you're not gonna be able to get away with that against Cartersville or Dutchtown, and it just make you really focus on your fundamentals and technique a lot more. And I think when we got back, they realized that, and that was one of their individual goals, to focus more on their fundamentals and techniques.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, what were some goals you just outlined that you want to accomplish this season? I feel like it's different for every coach. Some says, I want to go 1-0 every week. Other coaches say, I want to win the region opener. I want to win the region and get that number 1 seed. What's just some of the goals you outlined for this group that you want to accomplish this year?
Well, every year is Win State. Host a home playoff game. That comes from winning those region games. Um, beat the schools around the corner, and that's just to start out for us. And then we get into the other things about uh, using us growing so we can teach the players how to use life, gain something about life in those lines. So something that they can take home and take with them when they leave our program. To help them become men, husbands, fathers, leaders in the community. That's really the biggest goal. Using football to teach those things that they can use to reach those points of their life.
Yes, sir. And Coach Sir, what's been your favorite part coaching alongside Coach Floyd as the first part of the question? And the second part is how many pancake blocks do you see, I guess you could say, per game usually, or how many do you kind of expect to see from that offensive line?
Being with Coach Floyd, this is my year 6, and I take a lot from um, how he goes about things. How he goes about things in life. I see myself, you know, maturing and hopefully being like him once I grow up. And get years into the game. But I spend a lot of time, or I also like after practice we talk about things. So he's a great role model. Um, I could say. I could say at least 10, probably two for every goal lineman. So I could say at least 10.
At least 10. Okay. Okay, Coach. Respect that. And one more thing I want to talk about, Coach Floyd, I'm throwing it back to Coach Syrup, is you're meeting Forest Park next week for the 60th meeting. So kind of a little bit of a, lot of played each other a lot, essentially. So just what does that kind of game mean, kind of just to Jonesboro? Is it just another game, or is it just, a team you got a lot of familiarity with? Just what does that mean to kind of play them for that many times, and what are you most looking forward to in that game?
Well, it is a team that we play quite a bit. It's a region game for us, um, and coach is doing a good job of trying to get that program back on track. And we most definitely got to go out and be on top of our P's and Q's when we step out there next Friday night. And and I said we can't have a drop off in the bye week and going into next week. That's one of the biggest things. Playing to the standard and make sure we're prepared to go next Friday night.
Yes, sir.
I know
Well,
he'll
Coach.
have those guys fired up.
Yes, sir. And Coach Syrup, for us that don't know, I know you talk a lot, and Coach, I'm not going to lie, you do a really good job of just putting notice around the Jonesboro program for those that don't know. You do a good job of promoting just what it means to be a Jonesboro Cardinal. Just tell me, in your eyes, for us that don't know, what is the Jonesboro program kind of about? What does it mean to be a Cardinal and to come in there every day and, be a part of that program?
Man, it means a lot. Put in a lot of work, and I just want my guys to have the respect and notice like other programs and everything, and realize that we have some guys over here. We winning over here. So we do good things. We might go undershadow, or whatever. But I just want to bring the light to Jonesboro, and also bring the light to Jonesboro. Also brings the light to college coaches to come see the recruits. So that's why I'm always pubbing Jonesboro, this kid, that kid, so that we can get eyes on those guys.
Yes, sir. And not looking too far ahead, Coach, but I know you got dudes on your roster. I know they got dudes on their roster. Woodward Academy, I feel like that could potentially be and maybe even determine who wins the region championship. So just what do you think about that game looking ahead, kind of facing Woodward Academy in October, facing against a lot of the athletes that are going to be playing, D1 ball?
Sorry, I missed the.
No problem. No, I said obviously I won't look too far ahead, but I know you guys face against Woodward Academy. It's a question for both of you. Just what just stands out about that matchup? I know you guys got dudes, they got dudes. Just what kind of comes to mind when you just take a quick glance at that matchup?
I'm having a couple of issues over here hearing, so I'm sorry.
No worries. Did you hear me, Coach Sherb?
I hear you.
Okay. Y'all can hear me. Okay. So, yeah, I was just saying, not looking too far ahead, but the matchup between you guys and Woodward Academy, I know you guys got dudes. I know they got dudes. Just what stands out at quick glance about that matchup and potentially being able to face off and could potentially end up being the region championship or possibly the winner of the region and hosting a playoff game, number 1 seed.
Well, I know, like you said, that's going to be a good game for us. Competitively, like you said, they got dudes, we got dudes. So I think it's going to be a real good game, kind of like a touchdown game. We sticking with them a lot in the year before, so we gotta come play.
Got you. And my last question, I'll let you two get out of here. For those that don't know, or if they want to come out and see this Jonesboro program, what's the best way they can get in touch with either you guys or just come out and maybe even support or just see what you guys are doing out there in Jonesboro and be able to see all the talent that you guys have and the great program that the Cardinals is?
So I know you.
Go ahead, Coach.
I think he broke up.
I'm sorry. Would you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
Of course, no problem, Coach. So I was just saying, if people want to come out and support or just be able to see your program up close and personal, how can they find you guys? Just be able to support and be able to see all the talent, great talent in the program that Jonesboro is.
Well, we are all over social media. Coach Carmichael do a great job with that, and it's Jonesboro football across all platforms. And we kind of have open practice if you want to, stand at the fence and watch. Stand at the fence on the hill and watch us play. I'm practice Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday. And that's pretty much it. Our JV play every Thursday. Matter of fact, they're playing tomorrow versus Riverdale. And like I said, we're off this week, and we'll be back in action next Friday versus Forest Park at Terrence Stadium.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Floyd, pleasure meeting you today. Thank you so much for just spending your time and telling me about your program and coming on my show and being able to learn more about Jonesboro as a whole.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was a great honor, a blessing, and a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So I know there's a lot going on there, but that was a lot of fun just having both of the coaches on. Coach Syrup, as I mentioned, does a great job just recruiting for their program, putting insight, and just letting you know about some of the great players of their program. Gentavious Wyman, who I got an article out on scoreatl.com. Go check it out. 4 total touchdowns, 150 all-purpose yards. He had 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, plays quarterback and DB for them. So just wanted to highlight the program. I think they're doing a good job out there in the 6A. And I think, that's going to be a really interesting game. Coach Floyd does a great job as well. And I think they got a really superly talented group. I'm going to see if I can go to a practice or so, or maybe even game, maybe potentially. I think they got a lot of talent, man, and they're a lot of fun to watch, and I think they do a good job. So that Woodward Academy game is one I got circled. I think that's going to be really intriguing, seeing those two kind of face off. Won't be able to put on TV because we'll have our Hall of Fame, basically doubleheader with Collins Hill, Brookwood, and then also, who's the other 2 teams, Craig? It's Collins Hill, Brookwood. I know they don't play. I know they already played, but Grayson and Mill Creek, yes. So those are the 4 teams. So we'll have that. But Jonesboro, they're a team to watch for in 6A. They could potentially be one of those teams that potentially pulls off an upset. Obviously, they go toe-to-toe. They went toe-to-toe with the 5A powerhouse in Dutchtown. They played Cartersville pretty tough in 5A. We know what kind of talent they'd be able to bring up and talent that's exceeded and succeeded actually in the NFL and things like that. So they're doing a great job. But we're going to take a quick short break and be back on the other side after we thank our sponsor. All right, guys, we are back. Hope you guys enjoyed that segment. It was a lot going on, but, man, that was a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and keep the show going. We're going to roll some tape. I'll let Craig set it up in a second, but I'm going to talk a little bit about him first. John Cineas for the Grayson Rams. He's been having a great season, man. Already has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year. Currently leads the Rams in receiving yards and yards per catch. But let's go ahead and roll the tape, break down this film, show you what stands out about this fantastic player. All right, so it's one of his kick returns, one of his patented ones right here. Nice blocked up. Look at him go. Boom. Hit the crease. Break away. Nobody's in sight. Great job there just reading the lane, looking the hole, knowing where to go. Definitely an art to it. This is against Walton in our Corky Kell Classic that Saturday, opening week 0. I thought this was a big play for them. Look at this. Boom. Gonna block that. Look at him break that tackle right there, and then he's gone. Just him and the kicker right here. He's going to pull in the afterburners. Easy touchdown. And just kind of put that in perspective. You can pause it real quick, Craig. It was 35-0 at that point. And, you know, when he returned that, it was 35-7. So that was a big momentum shift potentially for Grayson. But, you know, Walton went back down and scored again. But that was such a big play because they didn't get much going offensively in that game. But this kind of like set it up for them. They started getting going. They started able to kind of get the offense kind of going and firing. So this is a big play against Walton. And obviously, man, he has a really great talent with this. Already has over 377 all-purpose yards. All right, you can roll it, Craig. So this is just another look at the play. Boom, right there. Breaks the tackle. Using his breakaway speed, one-on-one right here with the kicker. Blows right past him. Easy tutty. Right here, one-on-one coverage. Small defender, boom. Looking to get the release off the line. Come back to the football. Great catch. Uses the yak ability. Get the touchdown. Phenomenal play right here. Here we're going to have a trips to the left. Good job getting inside on the defender. Right here is double covered, but he just burns both. Easy pitch and catch right there for the touchdown. Great release on the route right here. Same thing. One-on-one coverage. Now, slowed it down. Look at the play. We're going to roll it back too because I really want to break this down. But he's going to come back right here. Look at him go get the catch. Roll that again for me, Craig, if you don't mind. Okay, pause it right there. So, key play right here because you're going to see the slot in the middle of the field. Trajan Greco is right there, number 3. So, really depends on what the safety is going to do here. So, the safety can come down and play him, or he could have went back and played a cover 3 potentially. But it's going to be one-on-one coverage. You're going to see Cineas sees it early on, gets a good release off the line of scrimmage, burns his defender. Potentially, if it's a better throw, probably turns it into a touchdown. But does a great job. Just release point right here, getting open, making a big window for his quarterback, Jeff Davis, to throw into. You can roll it, Craig. So, boom, beats him off the line. You know, has him pretty beat. Comes back to the ball. Great ability just into the ball. Getting the touchdown. Phenomenal play there from Cineas again. Right here, good release off the ball. Not going to guard him. Boom, it's easy money touchdown over the middle of the field. Now, this one's probably one of my favorite plays because the corner, if you're going to see it, we're going to roll it back again so you can see it a little bit slower and just pause it. But yeah, roll it back one more time. Pause it right here. Okay, so looking at this play, this corner, it looks like the corner's actually, if you go back and look at the start of the play, corner's playing off of him, right? But he recognizes that, I think he cuts off his route early. So that's the kind of cool thing about this play. See how far he's playing off? That's about a good 6-7 yards off of Cineas in this play. So he sees it, instead of just running probably the normal route he's supposed to run, you see that he cuts it off, potentially running the zone here. He goes, he sees the kind of lapse in the defense, seeing where the hole is. He goes to the middle of the field, gets the easy pitch and catch, gets the touchdown. You can roll it, Craig. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, boom. It just looks like a zone because what he's doing, just let him go. That like possibly zone right there. Right here gets Jordan Bam Bride right here. Nice job going over the middle of the field. Good catch right there. Turned into a big play for Grayson. Got him all the way down right here. That might have been that really important series early on when Walton had that stop. Right here, good little hitch route. Breaking tackles right there. Getting the first down. Make 2-3 defenders miss. Very, very good right there. Okay. Yeah, great job by Craig, by the way. Okay, so off coverage right here. Pause it for me, Craig. Off coverage right here. You see Jordan Bam Bride is off. That looks like a good about, 10 yards possibly off of him right there. So he does a good job. Hitch route right there. Coming back to his quarterback. Getting a good gain. If you're going to play that off of me, I have speed. I can see it. I can do a hitch. I can do a slant. I can do any of those routes. So you can roll it, Craig. So right here, you're going to see him kind of come off. Boom. He's playing that off. I'm going to come up. Get the hitch. Easy pitch and catch. First down. Excellent route right there. Here we're going to see his blocking ability right here. Screenplay setup. Good job blocking the defender, holding him for as long as he can, not letting him get in the play, getting him all the way down to the ground. Phenomenal block right there. Right here, just going to run a little route. Same thing, little hitch right there. Easy pitch and catch with his quarterback, Jeff Davis. So, great film, man. I really liked it. Craig, thanks again. You did a great job just slowing it down and stopping it when I needed it to explain it further. But what I like about his ability is his underrated route running ability that he adds to the game for Grayson. He's their leading receiver right now as far as yards and yards per catch. So he does a good job with that. Now, you might look at his size. He's actually a good 6'1", nearly 6'2". I don't know what his pounds is, but you might look at him like, okay, he's a goal ball guy. He's a guy that's going to do the 50-50, the jump ball. But he's more than that, right? He is doing a good job of reading coverage. I showed you when he looked and he was able to see, okay, hey, this defense is running zone. Let me get into the middle of the field and get the easy pitch and catch for the touchdown. The other player, Bam Bride, who's an exceptional corner, I think, in 7A and plays both sides of the ball. He's playing way off him, right? 10 yards easily. So he does a good job getting downfield, running the hitch route, getting open. So really like that about his game. And then I didn't even mention how dynamic he is in the return game, right? In the return game, he already has 2 kickoff returns for touchdown, 377 all-purpose yards already. And he's just a touchdown waiting to happen. You get the ball in his hands, look out. So underrated route running, intelligent. You can tell that he watches his film. He knows what the defense is doing, knows how to detect if the defense is playing zone, find that sweet spot in the zone to get an easy pitch and catch or a touchdown. Very explosive. And another underrated part of his game is sometimes the throws aren't the best, but he's still adjusting to the football and coming back. Sometimes you'll see receivers like, oh, man, I don't want to go into the defender and come back and get the ball or adjust to the football. He does that as well. So he's a big target. He's fast. He's intelligent. Great route running ability. He's going to definitely be able to help, I think, a Power 5 program on the next level. And he recently got offered by Louisville this past summer. So he has a bunch of really good offers. Just to tell you really quick, this is according to 247 Sports. He got Akron, Arkansas State, Cincinnati, East Carolina, Eastern Kentucky, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Liberty, Louisville, as I mentioned earlier, Marshall, Toledo, UAB, Western Kentucky, Western Michigan. So some good Power 5s in there, some good Group 5s in there. I definitely think he can get a even more notable Power 5. He's a dynamic weapon for Grayson, and he's going to be a key piece in how well they do this season. And they have been doing pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you. Ever since I lost to Walton, they've been blanking opponents and blowing them out. He's been a big reason for that. So doing a really great job. Really was impressed with his film. He has a very, very bright future ahead. So that's all I got for that. But let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to give my thoughts on the Milton versus Roswell matchup. Roswell currently leads this series right now, to 29. All right. Milton has won 4 straight. Now, me and Craig talked off air. I think he will give his pick tomorrow, so I'm not going to reveal it now. But tune into Craig's show, Drive for the GHSA State title tomorrow, and get his pick of who he's going to take in this matchup. But to make it a little easier for you, Craig, I'm going to throw out some very important matchups to watch out for in here, and that can maybe help you a little bit tomorrow. All right, so Battle of the Trenches. So we see it on the depth chart. We got a freshman starting. Now, I got to see him up close and personal in the scrimmage, Christian Pancake Hunter, and he was kind of rotating in, but on the depth chart, he's listed as a starter. So this kid already has major offers. He was kind of seen as the top player in the 2027 class in 8th grade. He played in our Georgia League Classic event, so I can't wait to see him up close and personal. Obviously, I've seen him for the scrimmage, but this is in real live game action, right? This counts. So I can't wait to see him go against that offensive line. So he's going to be a big component. And the guy we seen on the film for when Milton played against Western, A.J. Benton, and he plays both sides of the ball. He already has 2 sacks on the team, wrecking ball for Milton. Those are going to be guys I'm going to have my eye on as far as the defensive line, seeing what they're able to do in this game. Can they disrupt that offense for Roswell? So the Battle of the Trenches there. And then for Roswell, big offensive line, anchored, same thing. Kind of reminds me of Walton a little bit, right? Daniel Calhoun, he don't necessarily get the national praise that he should, but the kid's going to Notre Dame. Anthony Knapp, right? Left tackle, going to be starting tomorrow. They have a really strong front. He's the reason why they have such a balanced attack, right? Just being able to kind of shore up those holes, being able to create holes for the running back, not allow people to get to his quarterback. So I really think this game is Battle of the Trenches. And on the other side, for Roswell's defense, who's going to be more disruptive, right? You got Chad Morrison, who, man, I seen him at Media Day. That kid's a load, right? Then you got Kabi Sakia Pry, who's heavily recruited 2025 class player, right? Big players on the defensive line for them. So who's going to make more of an impact in this game? Will it be Milton's defensive line or will it be Roswell's defensive line? That's a matchup to watch out for. Both got great players on both sides of the ball. Both have pretty good offensive lines. That's going to be something to watch for in this game. Number 2, can Roswell continue their balanced attack? Get this. We know how good KJ Smith is. He just broke Robbie Roper's record with 7 touchdowns in that big win, that 71-7 win against Centennial. Kid rarely makes a mistake. 13 touchdowns this season, and guess what? That's tied for most in the state of Georgia right now. We know how elite he is. He can throw on the run, his great escapability, can make big plays. He just checks all the boxes that you want. He might not wow you with his size, but the kid gets it. He's intelligent. And even his offensive coordinator, Pat Carlisle, raved about how great he is and what he brings to the offense. So as far as balance goes, Roswell, 650 yards passing this season, 518 yards rushing this season. That's pretty balanced. So they don't ask KJ to do too much, but at the same time, they still let him go out and ball. And Nakai Davenport's having a good season, 218 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, and we've seen them and how potent that offense can be. So balance has a lot to do with that. So can they continue the balanced attack and hit kind of Milton different ways all game long? That's something to watch out for. Number 3, can the Milton offense get back on track? That's the big question. This season, I got to see him up close against Gainesville. He put up 21 points in the first quarter, but we have not seen a Milton breakout game, and we know how great they are. I don't think they've played, and I think head coach Ben Reeves would agree with this. They're not playing to the optimal level offensively, right? So much firepower, right? They're only averaging 20.5 points per game this season through 2 games. It's hard to believe. This is easily a 35 to 40 point per game type of offense. That's how elite I think they are. And again, they're my sleeper in 7A. No one's talking about them a lot. They're just flying under the radar. But I'm telling you, it's a team, if they get it going, the defense has already been great. If they can get it going offensively, they will be dangerous, right? So they got Luke Nichols going to Miami, the 3-star quarterback. They got weapons galore in C.J. Wiley, who's a 4-star. Ryan G is a 4-star. DeBron Gatlin's a 4-star. And you got Mark Esley. So they can hit you. And then Tristan Payne as well, their other slot receiver. So they can hit you in a bunch of different ways. That talent is itching to break loose. So will this be the game they get back on track against that Roswell defense? So I feel like we've yet to see them kind of get to that optimal level. It's still early. It's only 2 games, actually, because they had a bye week last week. this will be a good test for Milton to see if they can get it going like we know they can and how potent that offense is, like I seen in that scrimmage against Gainesville. So that's another key point of this game. Can they get back on track? Excuse me. And then 4, will this game be a shootout or will it be a defensive game? Last year, 14-7 defensive battle. Now, this game does kind of shape up to be either a defensive game or potentially a shootout game, right? For one, Milton has looked good defensively all season long, and I think they have one of the best secondaries in the country. Dylan Lewis, Shamar Arnaud, Tyler Redmond, and more, right? And they got a sophomore starting, Tristan Lester, who's getting a lot of buzz and does a really good job. And peep this, Milton defense only allowing 13.5 points per game. So they're doing a really good job. And it's tough to score against them, right? Against Collins Hill, they forced 6 turnovers. 6. So they know how to attack the ball. They know how to cause disruption. They know how to cause havoc and cause turnovers. So that's key. Then Roswell defensively only have allowed 7 points per game this season. Already have a shutout on their books against Denmark. Now, the type of competition they've played is different compared to Milton, I would say, so far this season. Nonetheless, though, they still shut down their opponents and, not let the offenses get on track. So I think that's going to be a good test as well. Now, the theory with the shootout is Roswell offense is averaging 54.3 points per game this season. It's hard to even believe that, but this offense has been humming, right? And they've not missed a beat. They got dynamic playmakers. They can run the ball with Nakai Davenport, right? You got Dylan Williams, you can throw 2 on the outside. You got Saquon Smith, who's listed as the running back and receiver, so you can use him all over the field. And he does special teams as well. So they got a bunch of different players they can get the ball to in space, and they can make you pay. So I think that would be key. This could be a shootout, right? Offense for Milton, they could also break out, as I mentioned earlier. So this might be the game they need to get back on track. So it could be really either. The defense could dominate or the offenses could dominate. We're going to find out Friday night on PCTV. Last thing to watch out for, special teams. Which special teams unit will be better? I think this is going to be a huge part of this game. Field position also will be another critical part of this game, right? Saquon Smith, as I mentioned just a couple of seconds ago, he's going to be a factor. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown already this season. How good a field position will Roswell have in this game? If they're getting it on Milton's 40 and 30, or they're getting it at midfield or on their own 40, that bodes well, right? You're more likely to put together a scoring drive or, a touchdown drive. So I think that's going to be key. And then we know how sound Milton is usually on special teams. So, if they can get big returns from Mark Esley and he can set them up with good field position, that could help this offense hum and be able to kind of, get it going. And then on the other side for them, they force some turnovers on special teams as well. And that's all it usually takes. Sometimes a big punt return or a big fumble, you recover it, you get it, and then it changes everything. So special teams, another thing I got circled for this game. So those are my key factors in this one. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's the best game in the state. There's obviously other good ones. Peachtree Rouge Warner is another good one. But I think it's going to be close. I'm going to roll with Milton. No slight to Roswell. I like Roswell. I think they're good. I think they're going to be contender in 6A. But I think this is the game. Milton gets back on track. You see the defensive line dominating this one, show how different they are. And I got Milton with a close win. Got the offense getting back track. I think it's going to be a shootout, man. I'm going to go 35-32. I got them getting the last second field goal and winning the game. Luke Nickel getting them down late in the game. Maybe even a jump ball to Ryan Gier or C.J. Wiley that gets them down late and they win the game. So I'm going to go Milton 35-32 tomorrow. We'll see Craig's pick tomorrow. Hopefully my analysis helped him out a little bit, decide who he thinks is going to win this game. But that's what I got as far as that game and what to really watch out for. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to recruiting intel, some softball news. North Oconee catcher, third baseman, and first baseman Kendall Wells. She just committed to Oklahoma for softball. You guys all know softball, Oklahoma is one of the better softball programs in the country. So she's going to a great school. She's 2025 class, a bright future ahead of her. Big reason why they're having a great season. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out, doing great things over there. Now let's go to football real quick. 8th grader Bryson Hurst gets invite to 8th grade All-American game. He will get to compete against some of the top 8th graders in the country. This is a big honor, kind of be able to put yourself in front of a bunch of different, scouts, recruiters, potentially get invited to summer camps. This is great to kind of get on the radar going to a game like this. And if you perform really well in practices and in the game, you're definitely setting yourself up for the future. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. This is definitely be one to watch out for. This kid, Bryson Hurst, definitely will be a big, honor for him to play. We'll see if he goes, but I think that's big. They don't just give invites to anybody. I'm not going to lie to you. So let's keep it going. My last one on football, Aaron Gregory. He's going to be at this big game this weekend, Alabama, Texas. That's all I have to say. Those 2 words, Alabama, Texas. We know how big of a game that's going to be. Last year came down to the end. I actually had Texas with the upset. Nearly pulled it off. Quentin Edwards gets hurt. 2019 victory. Bryce Young balls out. Leads Bama to the victory against Texas. And you know the rest. But I think this game, it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be fun. Gregory has really impressed me on both sides of the ball. He's had an impressive sophomore season. 293 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns this season. He's been doing a lot of good things for that Douglas County offense, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He knows how to go up and get the jump ball. He knows how to go over the middle of the field and break tackles, be elusive, turn into big plays. And he's a reason why him, Sayer, James Johnson, Jordan Carter, they're a reason why that Craig and others have them ranked out now in 6A, and I think they could potentially be dangerous. So Alabama's high on the kid, and I definitely think if they can get him, that's going to be a guy for them. And I got to be honest, along with Bama, Clemson, it's been a minute since they've had kind of the guy at receiver recently, right? I mean, Bama, we know, produces them almost every year, but recently, like last year, hard for you to really say they had a guy. Clemson, I think they've run into that problem as well. I'll tell you right now, Aaron Gregory's that guy. So, any college program that lands him, I think they're definitely going to be happier for it. He's a guy that you just get the ball to. Dude's going to make a play. He's being both sides of the ball right now in high school. Was a big part of that 31-0 victory against McEachern. I think he'll continue to be a big part of their success this season and beyond. So watch out for him. He's going to be at that game. Will be a lot of fun. Number 3 versus number 11 will be on primetime on TV. Go check it out. All right, so we'll take one more quick break. We're going to conclude with top 10 headlines for the weekend and wrap up the show. All right, guys, so we're going to conclude the show. Top 10 headlines for the weekend. Here it is, my favorite part of the show. All right, Hiram Hornets, they win Offensive Line of the Week, presented by GHSF, Georgia High School Football Daily. Team rushed for 282 yards, passed for 281 yards, a total of 16 knockdown blocks and 0 sacks. Great job by the Hiram Hornets. Continue to have a good season. Offensive line is doing work, led by Jamison Riggs, who's committed to Georgia Tech, doing a great job. That's number 1. Number 2, currently, this was just released. If you guys didn't know, this list gets impressive every single year. Currently, 140 players from Georgia are in the NFL. Every single NFL team has one Georgia player, and leading right now with the most is your hometown, Atlanta Falcons, followed by the Ravens with 8. So 29 Georgia players, are about 1 in 5 on a roster are rookies. This includes, and then get this, these are the recent draft picks that recently played their high school ball in Georgia. 2023 first-round picks. Will Anderson of Dutchtown, we know how good Dutchtown is. Jameer Gibbs of Dalton. Broderick Jones of Lithonia. Miles Murphy of Hillgrove. And Nolan Smith of Calvary Day. All are going to make big contributions, I think, this season. Don't be surprised if you see Will Anderson with 10-plus sacks this year. Jameer Gibbs with 1,500 all-purpose yards. Broderick Jones potentially starting soon for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Miles Murphy, we'll see what happens. I know he's kind of behind a very skilled and very good Bengals defensive line, spearheaded by Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, Joseph Asai, Cam Sample, and more. And the other one, Nolan Smith, man, he just has a chance to be so good for Philly, right? We saw what he did. He ended up getting hurt his last year with Georgia, but, you know, year in, year out, like, Philly has really good edge rushers and defensive linemen. And Nolan Smith has that potential to be next level for them, right? They already got Hassan Reddick, you know, but their D-line's getting older, right? Fletcher Cox maybe got 1 to 2 more years. Brandon Graham 1 to 2 more years. Derek Barnett kind of wants out. He wants to trade. Nolan Smith can step right in there, and then, you know, year 2, just like Nakobe Dean's doing this year, starting for Philly, making a big impact. So that's a name to watch for as well for the Philadelphia Eagles. Nolan Smith, along with obviously Jalen Carter and more. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, Prep Baseball Report just dropped their rankings for the 2026 class. These are going to be guys to know. I know, Craig, you cover baseball. They dropped their top 10 for the 2026 class. So Keon Johnson, Deion Cole, Connor Lagden, Matthew Sharman, Ty Tillery, Bubba Coleman, Cam Jackson, Colin White, Reston Durham, and then Blake Bryant. So, man, some pretty good players. Those are going to be ones to watch out for, obviously, next season. A lot of times you see those sophomores stepping up. We're seeing it already in football. You see it in almost every sport. Definitely, you're going to be guys to watch out for next season as baseball goes. And, well, I'm not going to reveal that yet. That'll be revealed another day. But that's going to be a lot of fun to watch out for. Number 4, midseason report on fall basketball was just dropped by Kyle. Just want to talk about it a little bit. Some of his standout players so far from the fall league. Guys to kind of know, obviously, as basketball starts to heat up, it's not that far away. He has 2024 6'4" shooting guard Jax Abernathy from Christian Heritage. Averaged 25 points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game, 2 assists, 1.7 steals, 1 block, 7 3-pointers made. Reigning league MVP. He calls him an elite 3-level scorer with tremendous balance and IQ, underrated athlete and defender. All right. Also had 2024 point guard Sam Johnson from Rockmart, averaged 19.7 in his league, 2 rebounds per game, an assist, a steal per game, and 11 3-pointers made. Doesn't shy away from touch shots. Deep 3-point range. Likes to attack off the dribble with pull-up jumpers. All right. He also has 2025 6'5" Caleb Samples, Union Grove, averaged 16.5, 4 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game, 5 3-pointers made. Kind of called him an inside-out wing. Has a knack for hitting clutch shots. Good athlete. All right. In 2025, he has 6'2", Javian Nurse from Osborne. This could be a player to watch out for. We know how good a Kai Fleming is. He'll be a junior this season. Probably be in the backcourt along with Fleming. Bounty, rebounds well from his position, works the mid-range. Could be elite level scorer alongside him. In 2024, 6'1" point guard O'Brien Watkins from Carrollton. 13.3 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal per game, and 1 3-pointer made. Called him an elite downhill finisher, explodes to the rim, absorbs contact with ease, and dynamic in transition. So those are some of the standouts he has from his league so far. Go check it out. SandySpiel.com does a great job covering basketball in the state of Georgia. Number 5, Darnell Kelly continues impressive sophomore campaign. He just won from his school Athlete of the Month. Continues his impressive run. I think the test, as I mentioned, is going to be number 10 for me, that game they got against Winterboro. But I like what Kelly brings. I think 13 touchdowns, 884 yards passing. He's just doing a magnificent job for his team. And he just checks all the boxes, man. I knew kind of early on at our Georgia Tech 707 Invitational that, hey, Peachtree Ridge, I think is going to be pretty good this year. And he was making some nice throws. They were going against Norcross, and, man, he just was – it wasn't a throw it seemed like he missed, and that's carried over to the season. And the cool thing about Kelly is only 3 games in, he still has 3 seasons to develop. Imagine what he's going to look like his senior season. Going in there with Matt Helmrich, you know, competing, contending for a region title this year, potentially making a deep playoff run. He's just going to get better and better. He's already on the radar, already got 3 offers, UAB, Eastern Kentucky. He has another one I can't think of off the top of my head, but he's doing a great job. So He's only going to get better and better. He's a player I definitely want to see up close in person with the pads on. Number 6, got to get some love to Stephen Miller, who was an excellent two-way player, making some noise out of Greene County. 10 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions this season. Plays cornerback, quarterback, safety. Currently has offers from Western Kentucky and Southeast Missouri. He's in the 2025 class. This is a player to watch out for. He's been having a phenomenal season. All right, number 7, we got our volleyball rankings out. I think we just dropped our softball. Let's talk about it in a second. All right, so 7A, Walton moved up to number 1. Number 1, Buford actually slid to number 4. 3 consecutive losses. Wow, they're having a tough week. They lost to Johns Creek, Pope, and North Cobb. Walton is 7-3. Only in-state losses were tight matches to number 6, or to Class 6A, number 1 Pope. So they also made it in the debut as well after their victories over West Forsyth and South Forsyth. All right, and then like St. Pius fell to number 7, and Altoona moved up to number 6. Heritage Catoosa moved up a spot, replaced Whitewater at number 8 in Class 4A, and Elsa moved to number 3 in 2A after a blazing 19-3 start. They're having a really good season. Model debuts at number 10 in Class 2A after proving a 13-7, and then Mount Vernon improved to number 7 in the Class A poll. All right, that is number 7. Number 8, quick update on softball. We are in week 4 already. Hard to believe. Buford remains the top team in 7A, along with East Coweta, North Gwinnett, Brookwood, North Paulding filling out the top 5. Class 6A, Pope is on top, leading Lasseter, Houston County, East Paulding, and South Effingham in the top 5. Then you have Northside Columbus topping Class 5A. They lead Jefferson, Ola, Villa Rica, Woodland in the top 5. Class 4A, Heritage Catoosa leads East Forsyth, West Lawrence, Central, North Oconee at the top. Wesleyan's team to beat in Class 3A, leading Gordon Lee, Jackson, Bremen, Harlem at the top of Class 2A. And Jeff Davis tops Mount Perrin, Appling County, Cook, H Charter in top 5. And then you have Hurt County topping Class A Division 1, leading Prince Avenue, Bryan County, Bacon County, and Lamar County. And then lastly, in Class A Division 2, Lanier County is at the top, leading Taylor County, Hawkinsville, Glasscock County, and Lincoln County. All right, that's number 8. Number 9, I want to give him a shout-out. State champion wrestler Brock Hacker just committed to Campbell University. Goes to Johns Creek right now. That's big. Will play his wrestling on the next level at Campbell University. It's a big accomplishment for him. Great guy, great player, and just continuing to be able to, achieve his dream and play on the next level. So I want to give him a shout out at number 9. And to conclude the show, number 10, Peachtree Ridge versus Wonderboro. 2 3-0 teams right now. How will Ridge fare? They've been having an excellent season so far, on pace to have their best season since 2016. I think this is possibly their first winning season since 2016. So future is bright for this team. Have a lot of dudes. I already mentioned Darnell Kelly. Got a dude named Abernathy who's young. Langston is a guy to watch out for. Could be a big pass catcher for them next year. Miles Abernathy's already on the team. Dorian Barney's a top player in the 2026 class. Already heavily recruited, 4-star player. So they got some dudes. Future is bright. Wonderboro is coming off an emphatic 56-6 win against Salem. They will be at home, and this is game 3 of the 3-game homestand at home. I think it'll be one of the better games in the state after our Milton Roswell one on TV. Obviously, I think this one is right under there. So the key for this game will be the rushing attack. Get this. Wonderboro already has nearly 1,000 yards on the ground this season through 3 games. That's crazy, right? Sophomore Demetrius Dowdy leads them with 343 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. And then sophomore Xavier McCoy also has 289 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. So the running attack is spearheaded by really young guys who are really, really good, only going to get better. Their development will be critical to the success of Wonderboro. They pass it too a little bit, but more heavily we're kind of lean on the ground game. So I think the question and then going into this one is, can Peachtree Ridge slow down the rushing attack? Can they make it difficult? Can they make Wonderboro a passing team? And then offensively, Peachtree Ridge, can they continue their hot streak? Nobody stopped them. We've seen the high completion percentage that Darnell Kelly has had. He's been hitting all his receivers, doesn't turn over the football. I think he has 10-plus touchdowns this season. So I think that's the biggest question is, will he continue to have that dominant play? Can Peachtree Ridge continue to kind of march towards what they're trying to march towards? And I think Craig even made the bold prediction of saying he thinks they'll be 6-0 before they even open up or get close to region play. So that's bold. This will be a good test for them to see where they're at, 2 3-0 teams on Friday night. So that's all I got for you guys for today. Fun show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely a big weekend coming up. Football's back. I think we're all happy about that. Chiefs play tonight. They're playing the Lions. So how you feeling about that one, Craig? Feeling good? We'll see. They play. You ready? We're going to see Lions look like a much improved team. A lot of people are taking them to win the NFC North, so that'll be fun. Potentially going to have a big matchup in tennis between Djokovic and obviously Alcaraz, who battled it out in Wimbledon. Alcaraz ended up beating Djokovic, so that could be a big matchup on Monday. This weekend, I think the game of the week is going to be the Alabama-Texas. How will Alabama look? This could potentially be a statement game for them. I think a lot of people said this is, I don't want to say it's a legacy game. I think that's a little far-fetched, but I know Feinbaum has said this is going to determine something close to those words of what Bama's going to be potentially going forward. So we're going to find out. Good thing is they're getting a good look at Texas, a team they're going to play a lot going forward, especially with all the changes in 2024 with the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, all that good stuff. So that's a game to watch out for if you have nothing to do this weekend. And obviously NFL football on Sunday and our game on Friday night. So we'll see you guys next week for me. Tune in to Craig Show tomorrow. Drive for the GHSA State title. And we'll see you guys soon. Peace.